Hey everyone, this is R. Marie. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to dive into the construct of time and how you can use revision, i.e. changing your past experiences to change your future. Before I get into all that, I do want to thank everyone who's been supporting my channel, sending donations, booking private readings with me, and coaching. If you're interested in any of those things, my information is listed in the description box down below. So for those of you who are a little bit newer, maybe to consciousness, how the brain works, what I'm even talking about, manifestation, all those sorts of things, I'm going to give kind of a real quick overview. So Neville Goddard teaches about revision, how to revise an event that happened in the past to change your future outcome to it. I think where a lot of people kind of get stuck on this concept is they're like, how can you possibly change the past and all these events? And they think that it's going to create some type of butterfly effect, where, oh my gosh, if I go back and change something, then I'm going to ruin all these things. And then, my whatever may cease to exist. And that's not really how it works. So to understand how you can change your past to change your future, we do have to kind of go over how the past, the present, and the future is just a linear time construct of the human mind. Time is not actually linear, okay? And I talked about this a little bit in my last video. So you have the Big Bang that happens, everything that we know that is here happened in that one event in the Big Bang, space, time, gravity, all of those things were born at that time, okay? Meaning every possibility that could exist in the universe and can exist has to exist. And this kind of gets over into the quantum realm, okay? But everything has to exist because it was all born at the same time, okay? Now, when we look at the past, present, and future, the only reason that time seems linear to us, and what I mean by that is that we can determine, something happened 10 minutes ago, something is happening right now, or that something is going to happen in the future, okay? So as humans, we have a brain that is able to hold memory. The only reason we are able to even perceive something as being a past event is because we store memories. And the only reason that we store memories is it's just all survival, We have to remember certain things to know what's safe and what's not safe, and then you can get into epigenetics, and that's kind of a topic that's a little bit probably for another video. So anyhow, the only reason that we perceive the past is because of our memories. The present is what is currently happening right now in this moment, fresh, new moment, every single moment. This is the state that exists. It is the only true state that exists. Things are only happening now, okay? Now you can say, but I'm planning a trip to Miami in the upcoming months. Like, I know that it's going to happen. I know that this is going to take place in the future. How is it possible that that's not now? Well, you're not experiencing that now. You are and you aren't. The only reason, again, because everything is happening now, every possibility that exists is happening now. And this is where some people tend to kind of can't really grasp this in their mind. So the only reason, again, that you're able to perceive that an event is not taking place right now and that it is taking place at some point in the future, again, is because our brain, and instead of it being our memory this time it is your imagination. All the future is in the human experience is your imagination and your perceived thoughts of what the future is going to be. All right, guys, now so we have kind of a basic overview of how the past, present, and future is perceived, how linear time is not really a thing that exists. Now we can talk about how we are able to change the past in order to change our future. Again, this is where a lot of people get tripped up. They're like, how can I change something that has already happened, that other people have experienced, etc.? Okay. Everything is happening within us. And what I mean by that is that everything that we perceive to be outside of us has to be processed within our brain. So if we touch something, we process it in our brain. We see something, we process in our brain. Everything is happening within us, including the past, present, and future, right? Because the past is only your memory. The only thing that is going to be real to you is your own memory of an event. This is why two people can argue night and day about something happening, because one person perceived it one way, stored it in a memory, and another person perceived it another way, okay, and stored it in memory. So all the past is your collection of memories. So when our brain collects a memory, it's either going to keep it in short term, filter it out, get rid of it, doesn't need it, or it's going to process it over into long-term memory. Okay. So every time that you remember a memory, you don't actually remember the event that took place. You remember your previous memory of it. Okay. This is why memories can change over time, and you're like, no, I absolutely swear that this is how it happened. And you can find out like, wow, why was I so sure in that memory, but it actually happened differently? Well, because when you go back and remember something, you're not remembering the actual event that took place. You're just remembering your previous memory of it. Now, if you're distracted when you're thinking of something, you're emotional, you're any type of thing, that has the ability to kind of affect what you're thinking about and the way that you're perceiving something. So one of the most common things that people get into manifestation for, especially with the law of assumption, is relationships. So we're going to take a relationship with a friend just as an example. Let's say you have a memory with a friend or an acquaintance, anybody you know, and all of a sudden this turns into a bad experience. Say they are short with you, and you're perceiving this as they don't like you, they're mean to you, whatever the case may be. So you might kind of be wary that this is going to happen again in the future. So next time you see this person, you might be a little guarded. You might not. You might be a very forgiving person. But let's say, for this example, you know, you're just like, where the heck did this happen? What's wrong with me? Why are they treating me like this? So your brain is going to pick up on the way that you're perceiving things, and your brain likes repetition. It likes familiarity. It likes repetition so that it can focus on other tasks. Okay. So if you're already kind of thinking that, oh, this person might treat me this way again, your brain is going to naturally seek out events within the 3D that support your thoughts. This is why your thoughts create, okay? Because your brain is grasping onto what you were thinking about, worrying about, expecting to see. Therefore, if you have the assumption, and again, this is where the law of assumption comes in, you have the assumption that something is going to be a certain way, your brain is naturally going to look for ways to support that idea. You're going to be nitpicking, for lack of a better term, trying to find ways to support what you're currently thinking, what you're expecting, what you're assuming to be true. Now, how do we use this information, understanding how the brain works, understanding time, understanding memory? How do we use this to change our future? Okay, so if you have a natural assumption about something being negative, your brain is naturally going to seek that out. It's going to create it, and that is what is going to be shown to you, what you are going to be perceiving. Now, if we go back to this same friend and change the memory, because we already know that we have the ability to do this because we naturally do it without being conscious of it. We change the memory We change the processing of that event, and then we change what our brain seeks out to show us within the 3D. So Neville Goddard and a lot of other teachers teach different ways to do this. You can script, you can imagine, you can do sets, which are at the state akin to sleep. You can do affirmations, visualizations. In my opinion, just from studying the brain, working, I do work in a subset of neurology, working and kind of studying all these things for so many years. In my opinion, this really can be done any way that fits for you. Now, the reason that things like SATs, imagining things when you fall asleep, tend to work really well for some people is because you're kind of messing with your conscious and your subconscious mind. Again, that's another video, another explanation. But if you were able to find a way to change the memory on your own that works for you, stick with that. So here are some simple ways that you can do these things. So let's say you want to change this relationship with your friend. You want to have a good relationship with them again. So you can either go back to your memory, your first memory that made you start thinking of this person this way, that first event. You can go to how you currently think about them. It really, truly does not matter. But what you want to do when that thought arises is simply just interrupt your brain. And this is where different techniques come in. You can script, you can say no, you can distract yourself, whatever the case may be. Whatever you do when that memory comes up, if you're writing or scripting, change the event. And change it to something that's believable to you. Okay, so this is the tricky part that a lot of people don't talk about within the manifestation community. Is it has to be believable to you. Okay, this is a quicker way to manifest. Yes, you can hammer in a new memory that's not really believable, but it's going to take a lot longer because your brain is going to have some resistance towards it. Okay, so if you change it to something believable, and maybe that's, taking ownership of it for yourself. Meaning, oh my gosh, I'm remembering this memory. Let's change it. Instead of saying, hey, my friend is an asshole. How about, oh my gosh, I can't believe that, I thought that they were doing this. That was so silly of me. I'm so relieved that that's not what was actually happening. That's it. Every time you think of this person, you just change it to something that is believable to you. Okay. Now, the absolute only reason that there is a time lag in the 3D, and I don't think I've heard anybody in the manifestation community talk about this, is because your brain is just catching up, firing new synapses, making new neural networks, getting rid of the old ones, and that just takes time. Okay. It just takes time. But the more that you do it, this is called neuroplasticity, the more that you do this, the better you're going to get at it. Okay. Yes, it is going to take time and practice to get rid of the old memory. It is possible to do. And all it's doing is changing the structure of your brain so that things are being perceived differently, and your perception is your reality. Guys, I'm going to end this video here. I hope I didn't lose any of you. Hope this makes sense. Drop a comment in the comment section below. Let me know if you want any further explanation, any questions, any other videos you want me to make about this topic in particular. Otherwise, again, thank you guys for subscribing, liking my videos, everybody that has been donating to my channel, and scheduling different readings with me as well. Otherwise, peace, love, and light, and I will see you all another time. Bye.